The following program was produced by PACTV in accordance with the agreements PACTV has with the towns we serve. The content of this program does not reflect the views or opinions of the PACTV staff or board of directors.
Okay, welcome to Delicious and Nutritious. We are at the Plymouth Center for Active Living in conjunction with PACTV, our television friends, and we are making a pizza today. Now, first off, I want to explain, I'm going to talk about the recipe, but before I do that, I want to talk about the dough that's in the recipe. Now, I make my own dough, which is fine. And it's a little time consuming, but I always make a double batch and one goes in the freezer. So I take it out 2 or 3 hours before and I can take it out and it defrosts and it's fine. But there are 2 other things that you can do. One is go to your local supermarket and you can buy a package of fresh dough. Very nice product. That some supermarkets also have a pizza shell. And it's just made out of flour. They also have a pizza shell that is made out of cauliflower. I haven't tried that, but one of these days I'll get around to it. So making pizza is very easy. This right here, this package of fresh dough, nice and soft, let it warm up to about room temperature. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle, and it's a little hard here to work with without a movable camera, but I am putting flour on my work surface. Now I have a counter here that is made out of stone, and I am going to open up my package of pizza dough, and I'm going to basically, because I don't want to try to pick up my computer full of flour, and I am going to talk to you about how I roll these things out. So, all right, we are working our way through this, and we now have the dough. Nice and flexible, but it's sticking to my fingers. What do we need to do? We need to put it on, rub some flour on it. Now it's not sticking on my fingers. And what I'm doing right now is I'm thinning it out by just kind of patting it down, and you can now see that it's getting bigger. And watch what I'm doing with my hands. You notice that the dough is falling off of my hands and it's lengthening. So I'm making a bigger circle. All right, now, if you're not comfortable trying that, just put a little flour on this and take the famous rolling pin, don't hit yourself in the head, and kind of roll it out. And now I'm going to show you how nicely it rolls out. And you can see, how long did it take me to roll this out? I don't know, about 20 seconds, something like that at the most. Flip it over and make sure you have flour on both sides. And roll it out again, and you're going to get this, so it's about 12, 14 inches in diameter.
Jerry, do you want to point the camera down so people can see you rolling, or not yet?
I tried doing that and it really doesn't work. Oh, how's this? Is that any better? Can you see me rolling?
Yep.
Yes?
Yep, that looks good.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Now, if you can see me rolling, I'm going to make a pizza. Okay, you notice how it sits? And look at it. It's not attached to the counter. That's because it's been floured. If you don't put the flour on there, it will be one pain in the neck, and you're not going to be happy with this. Next thing is And you guys remember this thing from last week. And on the pizza peel, can you see me putting on some corn? See my hand moving around here? Putting on cornmeal. Now, I am taking the rolled out pizza dough, and I am going to put it, see if we can get it somewhat on the camera here. And I'm going to make it a little, somewhat like a circle. And we are going to use plum tomatoes. We're going to use green pepper. We're going to use pepperoni. We're going to use Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. And one of my favorite things, pimento viva. A little dried hot pepper. So let's start off with this. Look, this is a plum tomato, dynamite. We're not putting the whole thing on here. We're going to, and do one thing. When you're working a pizza, bring your toppings out to the edge, about 1 inch from the edge. You'll notice that I am attempting to do that here. And we are rolling along. Okay, now we're going to put on some green pepper. And we're going to just sprinkle it along here and keep on a sprinkling. Notice we're trying to get about 1 inch from the edge. And you're going to love this because it's so easy to make. Now, pepperoni. Pepperoni comes in a circle. These are quarters. So I have cut my circles into quarters, and I am now sprinkling here. And okay, that looks about right. And
Jerry, that looks good enough to eat.
I hope so. Hang on, I gotta get something to wipe my hands. I don't want to get this on the computer. Okay, now a little pimento viva. What's pimento viva? Can you guys see this? My hand? Okay, it is dried pepper. Now, I like pepper, but you know, put on what you want to put on. Okay, Parmesan Reggiano. And finishing off with some olive oil. And just a little bit. You don't need a huge amount. Okay. Now, what we do is we kind of shake our peel. Now notice how the pizza is moving on the peel. Can you see it moving around? And I'm going to try to reshape it, but I wanted you to see that it moves. If it doesn't move, you got a problem. Okay. The key really is the cornmeal, and the cornmeal makes it move. So now I'm going to head to the oven, and through the miracle of video, we are going to come back with a pizza. Can you guys see this? How does that look?
So good.
Somebody give me a
Looks
comment so I know that I'm
delicious.
focusing.
That looks so good.
That looks yummy, Jerry.
Well,
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yeah, that looks great.
okay, now I'm going to take my gadget here, and I like this roller better than anything else. And please tell me, Tom, if you can hear the crunch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that means it's done. Now, we're going to cut this into 6 pieces. And we're going to, there we go. And we're going to do the final slice, which is about here. And my wife tells me we're going to have this for lunch. Okay, now we got nice separation. Let's try this one more time. There we go. Perfect. Notice that we have good color. Notice that the pepperoni has a little char on it. It's released a tiny bit of oil. If you notice that I did not use much olive oil, the reason I did that is that the pepperoni is going to give up some oil also. And I don't like greasy pizza. Now, but the thing about this pizza is take a look at it. You can see that the front of it's not dropping down on the floor. So we have a really nice crust, and you might be able to see some color on the crust if the camera's going to show this. I'm not sure. But this is a real dynamite pizza, and I am basically done showing you how to make a pizza. Let me just put this back up here so you can see me. And the most important thing you can get out of this is if you're going to use the homemade dough, which the first couple of times I would suggest you doing that. If you're going to use the store-bought dough, I would suggest you trying it with the store-bought dough first. It's not difficult to do. The key really is that when you're making your nice round circle, you want to put some flour on your work surface. Then you can once you roll it out, then you go pick up your peel. The peel's necessary. Or you can do one other thing, and I'm going to show you that right now. And that is, if you don't have a peel or a stone, this is a cookie sheet with sides. So what I would do is I put a little cornmeal on top of this, and I would take this and stick it into the oven, and it won't need much time to heat. And then just take the peel is almost a necessity, and just put the pie on top of this. And so, but I like using a stone because I think I get a better crust with a stone. So I'm going to turn this over to Marcia. Marcia's going to talk nutrition, and I'd be happy to have anybody ask me questions on how to make a pizza. But take it away, Marcia. Marcia?
All right, that looks delicious.
I hope you're
I'm
well.
hungry. Yeah, can you hear me?
Good.
I am, I'm
glad.
talking.
I can hear you.
I am talking. Can you guys hear me? Oh, good, okay. So a little bit about nutrition. A lot of times.
Marcia, we can't see
Can you
you.
not hear me? Okay. A lot of times people think of pizza as a fast food or maybe one of those foods that aren't necessary. I don't know what to do about that. I'm here. I can see me.
I can see you.
Marcia, I don't.
There you are.
Getting a message that
There
says
you
your
are, you're on
bandwidth is
now.
low.
You're back.
Okay. So a lot of people feel that pizza is one of those things that is not necessarily healthy, that it's a fast food or a convenience food. But in fact, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this. Set to go up higher. So can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Deluxe
this
pizza.
is a comparison card. And what it does is it compares the amount of nutrients in this case, a deluxe pizza. This would be a reflection of the pizza that Jerry just made. It's 2 slices. That would be a quarter of the pizza. And that would be about 350 calories, give or take. If you don't have the recipe, you will all be getting the recipe. But if you look at my colored bars, that very first bar is protein, and then we've got vitamins A and C. The next few are B vitamins, riboflavin, thiamine, niacin. The blue is calcium, and then we've got iron, and then calories at the very end. So when you think about 2 slices of this pizza and all of the nutrients that you're getting, so each of these bars is reflecting a percentage. So I'm going to take the card down so I can share with you the percentages. I can't remember every one of them. But you would get about 17% of the vitamin A that you need in a day, 23% of the thiamine, 17% of riboflavin, 17% of calcium, 14% of iron. So 2 slices of pizza is going to provide you with a significant amount of your daily needs. From one meal, if you're pushing 20%, you still have some other meals to eat. So pizza, when prepared correctly, is great. I love that Jerry used fresh tomatoes and peppers. He had the pepperoni. He didn't have to add any salt because the pepperoni added a little bit of salt. And he didn't use a whole lot of pepperoni, so enough to give it flavor. The other things that are good about this petite pizza is the calcium from the cheese, and that it's homemade. And you could get a shell that's already made, or you could get dough that you buy and stretch and do on your own. So those are all simple, easy things to do.
Marcia, there's also a whole wheat dough that you can buy. Okay.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Sorry,
I love whole grains are awesome, and we always want to push whole grains whenever we can. The other thing that Jerry mentioned was the cauliflower crust, and I've had it and it's tasty. It doesn't taste like dough to me though. So I think that's one of those things, like I love veggie burgers, but I don't think they taste like a hamburger. So definitely try a cauliflower crust or dough, whatever word is going to be used. It's very tasty, much lower in calories and carbohydrate if you're diabetic and you're trying to manage your total carbohydrate content and control your blood sugars. So the cauliflower crust would be a good option, as would the whole grain or whole wheat crust. And you can get them in the supermarket anywhere.
Marcia, I have a question.
Yes.
It's Beth. So
Hi, Beth.
can you buy cauliflower dough in the supermarket, or do you or Jerry have a recipe?
I do not have a recipe, and what I've seen in the supermarket, it's a cauliflower crust. So the crust is all made just like a shell. So you can buy the crust.
I was in Shaw's yesterday, and there were 5 or 6 different cauliflower crusts with no toppings on them. So they are available.
Yep.
Great.
And they're
Thank
worth
you.
trying, but I think you have to be realistic and don't think it's going to taste like pizza dough when you eat it. But be open-minded to experiencing another flavor as pizza. Nothing wrong with that at all. So the other thing that I wanted to share, and it's very hard to figure out where to hold things up. Okay, so
Perfect, Marcia.
I don't see the gallery. I'm having some, I don't know, can't get my screen to set up, so I can't see everybody. But this is my plate, and when we sit down for a meal, we should try to have a vegetable, a fruit, a vegetable, a protein, a grain, and something that provides us with calcium. And that is how we should try to eat each day. So I'm going to move myself over to the side and open the participants and hope that you'll still be able to see me. So can you guys still see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good, good. So the reason why you couldn't see me before is I was sitting underneath this participant. So we're going to have a little bit of a quiz. And I would like for somebody, if you've got your, I think you got a little chat or an area that you can raise your hand. I opened my participant menu, and down the bottom to the right, there's a raise hand. So our pizza included a wheat-based dough, some fresh tomatoes, peppers, pepperoni, and some Parmesan Reggiano cheese. So what part of that pizza would provide us with grain?
Joe.
Tell us, family, would you like to tell us?
Crust.
Okay, Megan Brigham has told us it's the crust. Very good. So when we eat this pizza, we're gonna get our grain from the crust. How about a vegetable, or also called a fruit in some cases for this particular ingredient? The tomato. Excellent. And how about vegetable?
The pepper.
Pepper.
That'd be the peppers. And how about protein? Although I'm being a little generous on the protein, but which one of those ingredients would provide us with protein?
Pepperoni and cheese.
The cheese definitely, and the pepperoni. Pepperoni's not going to be super high. You could probably get better sources of protein from something else, but little pepperoni is delicious. And how about the calcium?
Cheese.
The cheese. Very good. You all passed. So is Jerry still around? I see Marilyn now, but I don't see Jerry.
Jerry is here, waving hand.
All right. So I have 10:25. I'm not too sure what our time frame is, but I know Tom has a Stump the Quest question. I'm going to
Please,
throw
go
out a
ahead.
Stump the Chef question, and then we
I've
can
been
open
called-
it
I've
up
been
for
called a lot
general
of things, but
questions.
not a quest.
I know. Well, this might be a quest when you hear this one. All right. Are you ready, Jerry?
Fire away.
So, how many acres of pizza do Americans eat every day? How many acres? If we lined all the pizza up.
I honestly have no idea. I could probably come up with something cute and foolish, but I'm going to pass on this one.
Anybody else want to guess? All right. So if we lined up all the pizza that every American eats every day, how much land how many acres of land would it cover? All right. Louise has her hand up. Louise? All right.
Megan is saying 46.
Megan is saying 46. With Louise's hand. Anybody else want to venture a guess? All right, I'm going to share the answer. I was really surprised. 100 acres of pizza is eaten every day. And it equals out to be 350 slices every second.
Wow.
I know, I was pretty impressed with that. So for me, I'm gonna just kind of summarize. Pizza is a good food, but you do want to be careful of the type of pizza that you choose. If you can, try a whole grain crust. Try to go easy on those fattier meats. Maybe try to put more vegetables. It's a great way to bump up your vegetable intake. Add some beans. Some people like to put pineapple on their pizza. But a pizza can be anything. You can make a fruit pizza if you wanted to. So if you're ordering pizza to go or picking it up or getting it delivered, try to have some fresh vegetables on it. Try to make it as healthy as possible so that you get all of those nutrients that are so important. Next week, we're going to talk about nutrients in the brain too. So I'll be kind of feeding off some of the information that we learned today. All right, so I'm going to, Tom, did you want to ask Jerry his question?
Yeah, Jerry,
Sure.
one of the oldest instruments that you use in the kitchen is the knife.
Yes.
What was the first knives made out of?
The first knives were actually made out of stone, and then they went to copper, bronze, ultimately to iron, and then steel.
Hey, 100%. You got it.
Pretty good.
Marcia, how did I do?
You did pretty good. You're still getting an A+ at the end of this semester.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question,
You're
Tom.
still doing good. I've got my rubric going.
Marcia, we're running out of time.
Okay, any questions from our guests?
Can I make one statement, which I should have made? The oven should be 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and you want to cook the pizza for 12 to 13 minutes in my oven. So those are critical points that you should know, and they are in the recipe. So
I have a question.
I just, Marilyn?
I have a question. Most pizzas that you buy, most conventional pizzas that you buy have come with mozzarella cheese. And I
Yes.
noticed that you use Parmesan cheese. Why?
Yes. Okay, I'll tell you why. One is that I'm lactose intolerant, as you know, and that with mozzarella cheese, you're going to really get more cheese, but I use Parmesan Reggiano or Pecorino Romano, and the reason I do is they have much more intense flavor, so I can use less cheese and it doesn't upset my stomach.
Okay.
We have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Marcia, do you want to do a little, or Jerry, what next week is, a little bit more descriptive, and then we'll close.
Okay, Marcia, you started with Brain Awareness Month, and we are going to have a handout, and we're going to talk about how nutrition affects the brain. Marcia, if you would just summarize that, and please, people, remember social isolation, wear the mask. We got an issue in this country. Let's try to protect ourselves. Marcia, take it away.
Yep. So we're going to talk a little bit about the MIND diet, which is kind of like a combination of the Mediterranean and I believe the DASH diet. So there's been some studies, there's a big study going on in Boston right now about the MIND diet and how it may impact and promote better brain health. The research is still very, very young. So whatever we do talk about, I want you to realize that there is no magic bullet, but we do know that adequate sleep, stress management, good nutrition, fresh air, they're always going to help us to feel better. We'll talk specifically about some nutrients, a little bit about berries and some of the research that's happening, and also omega-3 fatty acids. And maybe we'll throw in a few quick and easy snacks or recipes that can help you to incorporate what we'll talk about. So again, even though the research is still young, if you consume some of these foods and nutrients that we're going to suggest, they're going to be good for you no matter what, even outside of the research on brain health. They'll be healthy for your heart and the rest of your body. And Hippocrates said in 400 AD, I think, food is medicine and medicine is food. And that's kind of what we're all about. We'd like to really promote health through food.